Hi everybody, thanks so much for joining us. We are here with the next installment of Junction City News. I'm Regina Mahoney, the City Manager in Essex Junction.
And I'm Ashley Snellenberger, the Communications Director for the city. And tonight we're going to be doing something a little bit different as we are both going to be co-hosting this edition. We have 3 projects that the city is seeking community feedback on and some great events coming up. So we wanted to just have the show to discuss all of these great initiatives and events that we have going on. So let's start off on all of this. We're going to start off by talking about the multimodal train and bus station, or our Amtrak station in Essex Junction. So Regina, tell us a little bit about this project.
Yeah, so this is a really exciting project. We have our Amtrak station right in the center of Five Corners, and it also is a big hub for the Green Mountain Transit bus as well. So we've got a lot of folks who use this facility. It is a bit outdated and definitely doesn't have the look of more of a historic train station. So this project has been in place for quite a while in terms of thinking about how to revitalize that, and quite a while ago, the city, or the village really, was able to get a congressionally designated spending grant from Leahy for this, and so we've got a good amount of money to try to improve this structure. It's a little bit interesting because the city doesn't actually own the building at all. The railroad company owns the building. Amtrak leases it. V-Trans actually pays for that lease on behalf of Amtrak. And then we also have Green Mountain Transit there as well. So we are essentially playing a facilitator role to try to move this project forward. And we are also putting some of our own city dollars into it, but really the majority of it is federal funding. So far the Planning Commission has had an open house in the beginning of September at their meeting, where the consultant was able to talk about some of what they've been able to come up with so far. And we now have that information out in a survey that people can take a look at and just give us a little bit of direction in terms of all the types of things that we might try to do there, just get a sense of what would be most important. The tricky thing with this project is it is going to be pretty tight in terms of the budget and what we can fit in, so we're going to try and do as much as we can. For the most part, the project is really looking at the exterior of the building, and what you can see here in this slide is kind of a green steel structure that covers the top of the building, provides a lot better coverage for everybody that's waiting there for the bus or the train. And it doesn't do too much internal to the building, but there is more space inside the building now than when the project was originally contemplated. So if there's any funding, we might be able to do some stuff inside as well. One other thing just to note about that project, just because it could be kind of confusing for folks, Amtrak itself has been working for quite a while on this ADA accessible improvement going on the railroad track side of this building. So that's separate from this other project that we have been working on. And you can see on the screen, that's the QR code for the survey, and we've got that out through October 1st. So if folks could take a look and weigh in, that would be great. And essentially next steps on this project are we are moving forward on getting the grant fully obligated. We are in kind of a pre-obligation stage with this funding, and working on the initial concepts. Once we get obligated, then the consultants can work on moving forward with final design and going from there.
Great.
Yeah. So, moving on
Moving on
to rebranding. Can you tell us a little bit about why we're doing that and what's going on with that project?
Yeah, so this was one of the original projects that the City Council really wanted to do when we went from being a village to a city. So back in 2022, they designated some funding for strategic planning and for rebranding through the local option tax fund. So this project really we've done the strategic planning, we've gotten some of that great information there, so now we're moving on to the rebranding. And really we're trying to develop a visual identity for the city and a message that reflects our community now, the character, the vibrance of our community, how it resonates with residents and our local businesses, and how we can attract visitors into our city of Essex Junction. So our current logo is about 20 years old, so it is in need of a refresh, and it really doesn't fully tell the story of our city today and how it's changed over the past 20 years. So we do have a rebranding committee. It consists of city staff, the city council member, and our community residents, and we've hired Place Creative Company to develop this identity for us. So we are trying to get community feedback on this as well, though, because we don't feel like our logo is just the city logo. It is the whole of Essex Junction's logo. So we do have a survey going on. It is available until October 5th. It is an online survey, and there are QR codes on there as well. And we will be, it's about a 6-minute survey, so it's pretty quick. It's pretty easy questions for everybody to answer. And we really want to know what makes Essex Junction feel like home to you. So we feel like this feedback is critical to helping develop this survey. So we've got this survey going on. We've also, I've been participating in our Meet Me on Main event, which we're going to talk a little bit more about in a minute. But we are going to be at the next Meet Me on Main event, which is next Saturday, this September 27th. And we'll have our survey live and in person for people to participate in. And it was really fun at the last event that we did this at. We did it at the September 20th event, and it was a lot of fun to have people vote live in person. We also have some $50 Hannaford gift cards that were generously donated by Weston and Sampson, and we really appreciate their contribution to help get more people involved in this survey. So like I said, it goes on until October 5th. And then once we're done with the survey, Place will start we'll take all that feedback, and they'll start developing logo options and messaging options for us to review. So we'll bring those to the community to review. It'll be at a city council meeting, so it'll be an opportunity for the city council to view them, the community to view them, and then we will then go back and forth quite a bit. So you guys will probably see multiple variations of the logo in its form. And then hopefully by the end of February, first part of March, we will have an official logo that the city council will then vote on and approve, and that will become our city logo. And then we'll start working on signage and replacing all of the places that the logo is in our city, and that will take place probably through the next 3 years. But we will have the signage in the main entrances that we'll be redoing first off, as well as some banners in our light posts. So those will be our first of our changes that you guys will see the new logo. And so please go out, take the survey, and if you have questions, you can also look at our website. We'll have that information later on in the end of this episode as well.
Awesome. Exciting.
Exciting, exciting. All right, so our last project is our Connect the Junction project. It's another big initiative that we've been working on for over the past year. Can you remind us a little bit about it and where we're at kind of in the project now?
Yeah, so this is a very exciting initiative. This project is funded by our federal RAISE grant through the Chittenden County Regional Planning Commission. And we are one of, I think, about 10 communities in the state that are doing this work right now. And really the idea behind this project is trying to figure out what we want our future development to look like in the city, as well as the public realm in terms of the places that we travel and move through, and kind of combine those two things together to see really what is the vision in terms of physical structure for the city going forward, and how do we really want that to look. And the importance of kind of getting engaged and involved at this stage of a process like this is that often people start to see a building go up, or they start to see the Development Review Board review a project. And really, it's this very, very initial stage, even though I know it feels kind of high up, floaty, like hard to kind of put your hands around some of the questions that we're asking folks through this project. But really, this will set the stage for what those land development code zoning regulations are going to be, that then set the stage for those developments that you'll see down the road. So it's too late if you wait all that time. Now is the time to really get engaged here on this project. And really, one of the big components of this project is trying to think through how we in Essex Junction can help address the housing shortage that we've got here in the region and the state. And so some of this is really looking at heights of development and buildings and how tall can we go. And also much more like, if we do that, how do we really bring in a good amount of green space and continuing to make the village, now city, feel livable. So hopefully folks can participate and take a look at this if they haven't already. There are a number of different things here. There is a draft plan that's a pretty lengthy document. If you want to read that, please do. Appreciate all the level of effort behind that plan, and if folks want to take a look at the full thing, that's great, and there's a way that you can comment right in there. There is also a Survey Monkey that is a little bit easier to sort of digest and provide some pretty quick feedback. Then also, Ashley already mentioned the Meet Me on Main event, which we just had the first one on Saturday the 20th. Our next one will be this Saturday coming up, the 27th, and we will have an open house as well to get provide some feedback on this particular project as well. So that is from 4 to 7 on Saturday, and we'll be kind of both out in the street at Meet Me on Main, and we'll also be in the 2 Lincoln building as well to be able to provide some feedback. Great. Okay, so those are our 3 big projects, but we don't. Does not mean that's all that's happening. We have a whole lot going on, and certainly we've sort of talked about this a bit already, but can you tell me more about our events and Meet Me on Main?
Yeah, so we've kind of mentioned Meet Me on Main, but this is a way for us to turn Main Street into a car-free environment and a celebration of our community. So we are bringing together food, music, shopping, all that with an outdoor movie all on our Main Street there in Essex Junction. So we're doing this, we've been doing it every Saturday for 4 Saturdays, so it began September 20th and is going to run through October 11th. And this is going to run from 4 to 7 each night, and then at 7 p.m. we'll have a movie that begins at right there. We have a huge screen, and we're having the movie right there on there, and we have s'mores as well. So we are closing down Main Street. This is from the 5 Corners crosswalk to Railroad Avenue, and we are going to be shutting down each Saturday at 1 o'clock, just so that we can have time to set up and allow families to have this car-free environment during the event. So the parking lot behind Nest and Yankee Pride quilts will still be open, and then Railroad Avenue is available as well. So with the Crescent Connector, that's allowed us to open up and have this road closed for this period of time just for this event. So the great thing about this is every weekend is different. So each weekend we're going to have a different movie, different food, different music and entertainment. We're going to have different vendors. And they're going to, like I said, rotate out each week. Like I said, we had mentioned, we've had our first event on September 20th, and it was an excellent event. We had so much fun being out there in the community and had some really great feedback on it. So this September 27th, we have a lot more activities than we did last weekend. We're combining a lot of city departments within this. So as we mentioned, the rebranding committee will be there asking for feedback on our project. Connect the Junction will also be there having their open house where the public can tour, where the public can come in and get information on that. Our city offices will be open. We'll talk a little bit more about that next, but that will be open for the public to come and view that renovated building. And then our city clerk will provide election information there as well. We've got a great stage lined up. We have some circus performers. We're going to play bingo, which will be interesting to play bingo in the streets. And then we'll have a music performance followed by our movie, which is Lilo and Stitch this weekend. Like I said, each week this will change, and every week we'll provide who the vendors, food and music and movies are for each week. So you can go to the city's website or EJRP's website and view that information. And we hope that people will come and enjoy this great event. It's been, like I said, so far a really fun and exciting event, and we hope it will continue to be that way.
And just a little extra note on that. So there have been, in some of our plans, there's a concept of potentially closing down Main Street in the city of Essex Junction collectively, right in the Five Corners area. And that has been sort of a concept that would potentially be something that happens post the building of the Crescent Connector Road, which is now called Railroad Street. The point of this is really not tied to that. If that happens, there's still a lot more studying to do of the intersection and how it performs. For these Saturday closing the road on these Saturdays, we're not adjusting the Five Corner intersection lights in terms of how they work, so it's really not a good test necessarily of what closing the road would be. And I'm going into this a little bit just to plug back to Connect the Junction and make sure people participate in that project, because that's the kind of planning document that we're using to sort of think through what are the next steps, if there are any next steps in terms of closing Main Street for permanently or an alternative. And that plan itself actually doesn't suggest closing Main Street in full right now based on the proposal. So if folks can take a look at that and chime in on that, that would be great. And this really has just been a great time to be able to do something fun, close the road down, take it back for space for people to hang out in. And I'll give a little plug to South Burlington Recreation Department too, only because last Saturday, first I did a 5K at the airport, which was also a pretty amazing example of being able to just create some spaces for community to come together and gather, and then got the chance to go to our Main Street event, which our Essex Junction Parks and Recreation is essentially managed and did this whole thing, and they've done a pretty outstanding job. It was so exciting, so I hope folks can come and make that happen. Check it out.
Definitely. It was so much fun. All right, so our last big event ties into our renovations at 2 Lincoln. We're finally done. We're back into our offices at 2 Lincoln. And so can you tell us a little bit how we're going to celebrate this next event?
Yes, so on Friday, September 26th, this Friday coming up, we are going to do a ribbon cutting ceremony at 10 a.m. At 2 Lincoln. And we will thank all of the folks who have put a whole lot of energy and effort into this renovation of this historic building in the heart of the Five Corners. And it's just really excited to share this space with everybody. So we'll do the ribbon cutting ceremony, and then we will have tours of the building and bring people through. And I realize that is Friday at 10 a.m., so many people may not be able to make that. So we will also be having an open house and bringing folks through on tours on Saturday the 27th, again from 4 to 7 to align with the Meet Me on Main event, so folks can go and hang out and hopefully win at bingo, and then also come through and check out the building.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So just to end, because we went over a lot of information today, we wanted to just bring up the three projects that we went over today: the multimodal train and bus station, Amtrak, that survey is available till October 1st. The rebranding initiative, that survey is available till October 5th, and the Connect the Junction, that survey is also available to October 5th. You also can check out more information on all of these projects on our website. We have each of these projects with their own webpage, and you can learn more information about them. And then finally, just going back over our events again, this Friday, we have the ribbon cutting ceremony. Then Saturday, our Meet Me on Main events, our tours at 2 Lincoln, and all of our community, our city departments there participating and getting feedback. And then we'll have our next 2 Meet Me on Main events on Saturday, October 4th and Saturday, October 11th. You can check out our website or EJRP's website for more information and the lineup for those last 2 weeks. We hope you'll come and join us for those events.
Yeah, and I just remembered I want to plug also at the library earlier on the day, Saturday. Everything's happening Saturday, September 27th. Earlier in the morning, they are having one of those really, really awesome events where you can bring stuff that's broken and you don't want to throw it out because it still has life. You just can't figure out how to fix it. You can bring it to their repair cafe and work through getting it repaired. So that is very exciting.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to that too.
So lots of stuff going on in Essex Junction this weekend. We hope that you will join us for one or more of our events. All right, Regina, is there anything else that we need to add tonight?
I don't think so. I think there's probably other things happening for sure, but this is about good highlights for now.
Yeah. So we hope you'll join us for our next edition of Junction City News, and check out our other editions that we have on our website. We link all of those after each episode, so we hope you'll join us for one of our future episodes or check out any of our previous episodes. Thanks for joining us tonight.